Hello, lovely. Um, in today's video, I want to talk to you about a way of stopping drinking alcohol that I know works that you may not have thought about trying before. I know from working with women, and you may be the same, where you have tried and tried and tried, and you've done the whole gritting your teeth with the willpower and, got your star chart and your tracker and you're ticking them off every day. And every day is a little war that you go to have a fight with yourself about, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink. And you pat yourself on the back when you don't drink, but you're exhausted from the mental turmoil that comes with it. And essentially, very often, you'll start on that 30-day approach and then get to the end of 30 days, go, I made it in a state of pretty near exhaustion from trying so hard. And and then think, well, I can drink now. I've done 30 days, because 30 days is often can feel like a kind of countdown. And I have some sort of issues with that. I mean, first of all, willpower just doesn't last. I think there's been studies on it, but it doesn't, you can't run anything on willpower for a long time. It eventually runs out. It is definitely a finite resource. Grit and determination are all forms of willpower, so they're all going to run out as well. And I think the whole thing about a tracker or a star chart, I think for me, it puts the focus on the wrong thing, which is, I want to quit alcohol, I want to quit alcohol, I want to quit alcohol. I'm not drinking, I'm not drinking. But what are you thinking about? You're thinking about drinking. So I'd like to share with you my alternative approach that that has successfully worked with tons of women that I've worked with, and who've really reshaped their relationship with themselves around who they are, and what they want out of life. I know that when you're in the drinking kind of cycle of stopping and starting, it's really easy to give yourself a hard time, to beat yourself up about the fact that you failed. And just a side note on that, failure needs to be reframed. I'll do another video on that one in more depth, but failure is just an opportunity to look at what you did and figure out what didn't work and how to do better or differently next time. But this constant kind of laser focus on quitting and not drinking is actually keeping your brain in exactly the same place, which is focused on alcohol. So when I'm working with women, the focus and the approach that I take is to switch that entirely away from alcohol and to focus on you. Now, this is something I think as women we're not very good at. We can be a little bit self-sacrificing and a bit people-pleasing, and we can often feel that doing things for ourselves and focusing on ourselves is a little bit selfish. And quite frankly, my answer to that is, you can't pour from an empty cup if you're not taking care of yourself. If you have other responsibilities, you're not going to be able to do them as well as you would want to. So to think about it in a different way means to think about, what kind of woman do you want to be when you're sober? What kind of things does sober you do on a daily basis? How do you change your life in a way that's sustainable, but that feels good, that feels natural to you? And often, and this is, the basis of my book, which is, what's the most loving thing that you can do for yourself as you decide to stop drinking? Being loving towards yourself isn't sappy or pathetic. You know, loving can be I personally feel, is one of the strongest forces in the world. And within us, the depth of love we have that we can use on ourselves can help you to start thinking about how you want your life to be. So if you say to yourself, as an example, what's the most loving thing I can do in the next few weeks while I don't drink? Perhaps the most loving thing that you can do for yourself would be to rest. Perhaps it would be to do a bit of a declutter so your physical space feels lighter. Perhaps it will be gentle walks or longer walks with the dog, or a little bit of time by yourself. There's lots of different things that would work for you. And I think that would be, and you know what they are, you know that. And that can be wonderful fuel for building on doing the most loving things for yourself. Um, and when you do the most loving thing for yourself, you're never doing anything bad for anybody else either. Even telling your partner, darling, I love you, but I'm not going to drink today, is loving. So when you're thinking about making that start, sit down and make a list of all the things that you would like to change about your life that feel loving and good and enriching, and would make you feel like you've done lots of lovely things for yourself and didn't think about alcohol while you were doing it. One of the best ways to quit drinking is to let it go from your life and stop thinking about it. Focusing on yourself and what you want from life is a much more powerful and long-lasting way of staying sober and changing your life for the better, so that your sober life is so wonderful that there's no place for alcohol in it. I've been sober now since 2017, and it is beyond a shadow of a doubt the most empowering, enriching, and wonderful choice I've ever made for myself. And the kind of loving things I've done for myself over the last however many years it is, maybe 8 or 9, has just transformed my life. And I use this as the foundation of every decision I make. What's the most loving thing that I can do in this situation? And I never come up with a bad answer. So make a list, give it a try, and see how your start to being sober can be loving and enriching and make you feel good about letting alcohol go. Lots of love, my darling. See you soon.